Hello, everybody. It's Monday, December the 5th, I believe. About 10 a.m. local time. I'm still operating on GMT plus 3 hours. Well, here we are. Still on a port tack, although instead of making a course of about 160, we're making a course of about 210 because the wind has gone from east. Went through a bit of a calmish period, and then eventually the wind is reestablished, and we are now in the southeast trade winds in the southern part of the Indian Ocean. Except it's not quite southeast. It's a lot closer to, I'm going to say something around 160 degrees. That's where the true wind is coming from. And over the last day and a half that we've been sailing like this, we're slowly drifting westward or closing the coast. Not very fast, but we are closing the coastline because we're going too much to the west. Anyway, it's this morning. Last night was a very lazy night. It was pretty calm, but we did seem to be in something of a current carrying us southward a bit. Not much sailing. After sunrise, the wind came up nicely, and it looked like it was at very first about east-southeast, which was great because I could get back towards the course line. But as the morning progressed and the wind increased, it started going more and more south to where it is now. And the strength, of course, increased. It's probably blowing about 15 now. But even when it was down around 10 or 12, the boat was often hitting 6 knots. That's because we're in the good current coming from the north, setting to the south. So right now, same thing. Absolutely close hauled. And it's getting close to time to put a reef in the mainsail because it's constantly pushing the boat up a little bit too close to the wind and causes the headsail to flap. So we're not heeling as much as we were the other day, but no sense overpowering the boat because, like I said, with this boat and shallow drag keel, it doesn't do much good to have the boat heel too far because it goes sideways from the wind pressure. Better to have it sail more upright. Makes for a more comfortable ride, and it really doesn't make any big difference in the speed. We're still occasionally hitting 6 knots according to the GPS, and the motion's pretty good because the seas are fairly regular. Not running into that lumpy, bumpy, chunky stuff. You can hear the sail right on the edge of luffing. Because my body weight, you think that's strange, you know, got a 20,000 pound boat. But if I move my body around just a couple of feet either direction, just my body weight, which isn't not much, changes the trim of the boat. And especially if I go from, say, the cockpit up forward, it really makes a little bit of a difference. But it's a noticeable difference to the trim of the boat. So, once again, why I say if you're going to sail your boat like this, you've got to be very sensitive to getting all the sails balanced, getting the helm set just right, etc., so that the boat will maintain course on its own. Now, you can't do this sailing off the wind, but since we're close hauled, the boat should have its greatest natural course stability. So I'm not using the wind vane or the autopilot. I got the auxiliary rudder locked off, and I got maybe 2/3 of a spoke of weather helm in the main wheel. And that all balances out pretty well. But like I said, we're on the edge of having too much sail area. Now I could ease the mainsail, but then the mainsail would start lumping a bit. It would lose some drive, so it would lose some efficiency. It'd be better to go ahead and put a reef in the mainsail. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Tomorrow will be the 14th day on this passage. We're not even halfway. I expected after 2 weeks we'd be at least 2/3 of the way on an 1,800-mile trip. Well, by tomorrow will be 2 weeks, and we're not even halfway. So that first week, once again, just absolutely killed us. Getting a little splooshies over the deck there. Between the rain and the spray coming up on deck, it's kept the decks pretty nice and clean. Got the full main up, the new main, it's still working great. The head sail's working great. Everything is working pretty good. So, no major complaints about anything right now. And this morning, right after sunrise, the sky was beautifully clear. Through the day, though, the clouds have definitely filled up since the sun has heated the surface of the water, causing evaporation, which of course goes up and makes clouds. Or the clouds were there and they've just come with the wind pushing them in this direction. It's more or less trade winds type of sky, cloud formations. Still hoping that the wind is going to go more east or even northeast. If not, sometime maybe tomorrow morning. I think I can wait that long. We're still about 40 miles offshore. Gonna have to flip over on the starboard tack and gain some easting. We'll see how things go over the next day. So that's the report for today. Everybody, take care out there. Have fun. Bye for now. Okay, folks, here it is a little earlier. And Miss Snooze Machine is wide awake, currently increasing her fortunes. Yesterday, she informed me that we're set for life because she had made over $300 million or something in her offline card game. So, baby, we're set. I said, yeah, just wait. Try to cash that in. Anyway, beautiful day so far. It's the wind going a little lighter now. And we just put the reef in the mainsail. Of course, put a reef in the mainsail and the wind gets lighter. That's normal. Okay, folks, here we are. It's a little bit later, 5:30 in the afternoon on Monday, the 4th, not the 5th. And you see our course line coming down there. I was really getting concerned earlier that we were going to be able to clear this coastline. But as the wind increased, it continued to back around, which is great because it went to about east-southeast, which means that right now we're able to make a little bit east of due south. Been watching the speed right there. We're making about a course of 175 or thereabouts. Speed, obviously, we're getting a hell of a boost from the current. I've actually seen the speed. I don't know if you can read that. There it is in the center of the picture. SOG. I've actually seen that touch 9 a few times. There's 891. So chalk that up to 2 or 3 knots of Agulhas current. But the wind has increased. It's blowing a solid 20, maybe a little bit over. I went back and put another reef in the mainsail again, because the boat was just developing too much weather help. So here we are, zipping right along. Once again, the autopilot sitting, or the auxiliary rudder sitting back there, it's locked into position. Autopilot's not turned on. Don't need the wind vane. And all I've got there is about, the wheel is about 2 inches off center, to starboard. With the reefed main, that's about all it needs. And the weird thing is, the boat always seems to need a little bit of right helm. I think maybe the cables are not quite adjusted, so that red marker is not exactly at the top. Doesn't matter. Just got to play with it a little bit, get things balanced out. Once again, you really can't see the sea state because the camera just flattens the waves out. But wind waves are certainly up in the, I would say, 1.5 to 2 meter range, and every once in a while we're getting a rather large swell from the south, and which occasionally makes for a pretty wild ride. Fortunately, we're not throwing too much spray. Every once in a while we get a little up on the deck, but not too much. And pretty much we're hauling ass. I think about all those people over there. The sun is setting slowly in Africa. I wonder if they know that we have a brave and stalwart crew in a small sailboat thrashing our way hard on the wind down their coast. I hope conditions keep up. At this speed, we could make it to Richards Bay in a week. Although I don't know if that'll hold the direction and wind speed. I'm just hoping right now that it lasts till about midnight. We're clear of that last bulge, eastward bulge of the African continent. We'll get down there a little bit further. We'll be in midway, north and south, Mozambique Channel between Madagascar and the African mainland. When I was in that same area, a little further to the south, 15.5 years ago, on Phoenix, I saw the biggest waves I've ever seen in the open ocean. They were up nearly 7 meters, in conditions not too dissimilar from this. Really strong southeast Indian Ocean trade winds. And why in that one particular area there was such a large swell, I'm not sure. The wind was probably blowing 25. It was blowing the crests off the sail, off the top of the waves, and crashing against the side of the boat, throwing water everywhere. But I didn't think it was outrageously dangerous. I just kept sailing under, double reef main and a stay sail, something like that. That was also a pretty fast passage going down to Richards Bay. So you can see there's one of those big old waves coming from the south. A little bit east of south. Sometimes a little bit of a wild ride, but actually it's fairly comfortable. Miss Dee Dee was back aft earlier, had herself a nice hour-long nap in the aft cabin. We're preparing to start our evening meal, pasta and beans. good helping of Parmesan. Anyway, so while you're lazing about in your easy chair, watching these videos, get a little taste of what life is like in the big ocean.